Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Ashley Godwin. We are beginning with new information in the Lee County death of a 6-year-old boy. He was found under a hallway floor inside a home Friday night. Our Memphis station's Jordan James reports.
This is horrible.
Emotions are running high across Lee County, Arkansas.
This is inhumane. This is not normal. This is sickening.
Feelings coming out after Arkansas State Police says a 6-year-old boy was found buried beneath the hallway floor of a home in the town of Morrow.
It's heart-wrenching to hear about something like this close to the holidays.
The discovery was made Friday night by the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Investigators believe the child died possibly 3 months ago as a result of injuries suffered inside of the home, feet away from where Michaela Calloway lives.
It's very sad, very heartening that I have a house just 2 houses over and had no idea that there was a deceased child that close.
Not only did officers find that boy dead, but they also discovered a 6-year-old girl who reportedly had burns to the scalp. She was taken to a local hospital and is now listed in stable condition.
Investigators have linked the children's mother, Ashley Rowland, and a man named Nathan Bridges to the crime. Both are charged with capital murder, abuse of corpse, tampering with evidence, and endangering the welfare of a minor.
I hope they're punished to the fullest.
The arrest bringing a sense of relief to this fractured community as questions loom about if this could have been prevented.
You have children and you don't want to care for them. There are people that do. There are people that will care for them. Please don't do these kind of things.
A plea for change and accountability as tragedy hits close to home for many.
And Arkansas State Police say that this remains an active investigation. No other details will be released until tomorrow when the affidavit is formally filed in court. And an overnight murder that Little Rock police tell us is bizarre but have released few answers. It happened just after midnight. Officers with Arkansas State Police asked for help from LRPD to look into a homicide in Lonoke County. While responding to that call, Little Rock police received a report of a shooting on Chenal Parkway. LRPD says the 2 incidents are connected and they determined the homicide occurred in Little Rock. 25-year-old Joshua Shorty Jr. was taken into custody and charged with first-degree murder. Police have not told us who the victim is. We are working to get more answers in this case, and you can find the latest here on THV11 and THV11.com. And tomorrow, the funeral for Sergeant Donald Scobie, the Stuttgart police officer killed in the line of duty. It will be at the Grand Prairie Center on Highway 165 at 1 p.m.
Well, this was the final weekend before we enter your Christmas holiday next weekend, and the weather was pretty good. It was chilly, but we were fair, and hopefully you took advantage of the great conditions that we saw. Highs were ranging anywhere from 40s to 50s. We were around 53 here in the metro. Right now, we're sitting at 35. Clouds have continued to increase throughout the evening and into the overnight hours. Will continue to do so ahead of our next system making its way on through, but otherwise, a quiet night in store. Could be a little bit on the chilly side. By your Monday, we could see even a few flakes, especially in northern Arkansas, and some scattered showers in our forecast. But this is not our only system for the upcoming week. We have a strong cold front that's going to be bringing us some bitter cold conditions to end the week right before Christmas. We'll go from 40s on Thursday to wind chill factors 10, 15 to even 20 below zero by your Friday morning. So some bitter cold coming our way. I'll be talking more about that with a full look at your forecast coming up in minutes.
Thanks, Corrales. And people of color around the country have been reprimanded or even fired for the way they wear their hair to work. A bill to stop this discrimination passed in the House in March, but last week was blocked by Senate Republicans. As our Frederick Price shows us, one Arkansas representative is still fighting for change.
Creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. It's a bill known as the Crown Act. Introduced in Arkansas last year, the legislation would prohibit hair discrimination based upon race in the workplace, public schools, or at a college. Arkansas Representative Vivian Flowers co-sponsored this bill.
The thought of someone losing her job because her hair is offensive to someone else, it would have a major impact on that family.
The bill most recently failed to pass in U.S. Congress. You'll remember last year, the legislation also did not pass in Arkansas. Flowers says hair discrimination has happened for decades and believes one of the reasons the bill failed in Arkansas is simply because of a lack of education on the matter.
In some cases, a fear of, oh, what'll happen if we do this? You know what I mean? Or not understanding, that there's even a need.
Since 2019, 18 states have enacted the Crown Act. Still, Flowers believes this bill that prohibits discrimination of someone's hair texture or protective hairstyle is needed in Arkansas.
Some people think it's not a big deal. Oh, corporations should be able to set their own standards, and they should, but their standards shouldn't violate or discriminate.
And adds this legislation could prevent future lawsuits against companies and organizations.
With more understanding that this is not a harm to companies.
If this legislation were to be reintroduced, Representative Flowers says she'll support it. This time around, though, she tells me she'll work to make sure other lawmakers fully understand why this bill is so important. In Little Rock, Frederick Price, THV 11 News.
Now, Arkansas had a similar bill to the Crown Act last year. It failed. And the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riots is set to make what's expected to be its closing argument tomorrow. The panel will be dissolved when Republicans take control of the House next month. It's believed the committee's final move will be to vote in favor of making criminal referrals to the Justice Department against former President Donald Trump. Christian Benavides reports.
On Monday, the House committee investigating the January 6 Capitol attack holds what is likely to be its last public meeting. As first reported by Politico, the committee is expected to vote to recommend the Justice Department pursue criminal charges against former President Donald Trump. At least 3 charges are reportedly being considered for referral: insurrection, obstruction of an official proceeding, and conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government.
I think that the evidence is there that Donald Trump committed criminal offenses in connection with his efforts to overturn the election. I will say that I think the president has violated multiple criminal laws, and I think he ought to be treated like any other American who breaks the law, and that is, he ought to be prosecuted.
Committee member Adam Schiff expressed concern that federal prosecutors may be slow to move on charges as long as Trump is politically relevant as he makes another White House bid.
I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
On his Truth Social platform, the former president wrote, "Republicans and patriots all over the land must stand strong and united against the thugs and scoundrels of the Unselect Committee." Separately, the House Ways and Means Committee is also expected to meet soon to decide whether to release portions of Mr. Trump's tax returns, which he has resisted for years. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
And tomorrow's meeting is set for 12 p.m. This will be the January 6th committee's 11th public session since the panel was created in the summer of 2021. And the influx of migrants at the Texas-Mexico border is pushing the country's immigration system to the breaking point. This weekend, the mayor of El Paso is declaring a state of emergency. The increase is due to Title 42 expiring Wednesday. That was the migrant restrictions put in place during the pandemic. With thousands of migrants and asylum seekers crossing daily into El Paso and the numbers expected to multiply when Title 42 ends, the city is struggling to keep up.
It is utterly painful to have to say, I do not have room for you.
Those that make it across the border are being processed by Border Patrol. Not everyone is released, but those who are finding makeshift shelters where people can sleep until they get funds to get out of El Paso and into the cities where their families are waiting for them. And as Americans gather for the holidays, the nation is being gripped by a triple-demic of respiratory illnesses: COVID, the flu, and RSV. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has tracked 15 million flu cases so far. Nearly every part of the country is reporting high or very high cases of the flu. In the aftermath, some people are reporting difficulty finding cold and flu medicine and children's painkillers. However, cases are not as high as this time last year. The White House is once again providing free test kits, and they can be ordered at covidtests.gov. Christmas is days away, and the U.S. Postal Service is working hard to make sure your packages make it to their Christmas destinations on time. We'll show you how they do it next. But first, Corrales.
That's right. We're counting down the days to Christmas. The first official start, or the first day of the winter season, is actually this Wednesday, December 21st. And by the end of the week, it's definitely going to be feeling like winter. We have a system making its way that's going to be bringing us some bitter cold temperatures just before your Christmas holiday. Coming up, we'll be talking about that, if you have the potential for some snow in the forecast before Christmas, and some other details as well in your forecast coming up in minutes.